Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed and Be the Change. In this week, we are going to start a 3-week review session. If you started with your action steps at the beginning of the year, we are now working into week 7. So this week, we're going to talk about accountability. You have defined the change that you want. You have started your action, and you have realized that when you start walking the path reveals itself. You have created building blocks that will mark and guide you on the way. Now next, you need to know if you are hitting those marks. And the way that you do that is by setting up a framework for your change and to create accountability. You want to go back to the building blocks that you have set up for the major parts of your change. You want to identify 4 or 5 parts that will make up that particular block. These should be general pieces of the block. If you find that there are more than 4 or 5, it might be that you need to insert a new block, that one was created, it was too big. From those 4 or 5 pieces for the block, you then take each one of those individual pieces and break those down into tasks. Those will be your new action items, and then you want to assign those a time frame. How long is each one going to take? And that way you know how many days or a week will it take until that task is completed. While you make these assignments and you're going to do it for all of your blocks, you're just going to go ahead and lay it out. Pay attention to the different component parts of the sections or pieces of each block, because there are going to be certain places where there is going to be some overlap, either exactly the same thing or just a little bit different or in a different way. So you want to make note of those similarities so that you've set it out so that as you're working on a particular action item, you're like, oh, I need to research this particular type of material, but when I get later down in my project, I'm going to need a similar one later on, so I need to note where I'm going to get this material, or if I can get the information for it now, go ahead and get it all at once. That way you've satisfied things for later on down the road. But at a minimum, you want to record your contacts and where you found it, or if it's a website or something like that. Want to be too rigid in this process. You want to keep an eye out for what's coming next, and obviously throughout the entire project, what your ultimate goal is. Your action steps. Sometimes there's going to be some overlap, and there are going to be certain things as you lay out the steps in your building blocks that are going to more naturally coincide with things that you're doing or places you will be or certain times of the year. So you want to have those kind of matched up in that way. So keep that in mind as you're assigning these action steps. Easy way for everyone to understand is one of the building blocks later on will probably require some money. Are you saving weekly or monthly or from every check towards that? Are you going to borrow the money? Do you need to apply for the loan? Do you have some family who might loan you some money? Have you made those arrangements? So while it might not be something that is completed early, there are steps that you'll be taking that you can do now or earlier than when you come up on the day that you need the money. Taking from a friend of mine who redoes her calendar every year and her address book every year in different colors, use a color or a font or some way of designating each of your different building blocks. Then, as you're layering these tasks on top of each other on your calendar, you'll be able to match them back up with where they fit, so that while you might have 2 or 3 things on one day, they spread out, and actually what you're doing is you're filling it in more across the board as you build up. So it might seem that there's more work now, but actually it's spreading all across your project and helping to firm the foundation in general. So it's really accelerating what you're doing, and it's pushing your progress forward faster. It's going to take this little bit of prep work, lay it out, or just a couple of hours, and then it's so much easier for you to just lock in, look at your list, look at your calendar and your project book or your phone, and knock these things off. You've already set it up, so now all you have to do is follow. The regular steps that you're taking are going to show you your progress. Now, each day, if possible, you want to do your action steps around the same time every day. You want to dedicate this time to this change that you have. Regularity is really important to keep you on track, and that's something you can set your alarm if you need to on your phone, or another type of an alarm, or just build it into your calendar every day. Maybe you also want to check off what you do, and this is the accountability part. This is the part that you have set it up, you have done it, and either you cross it off or you check it off. And now you are building a record for yourself. You remember back at the beginning when we were taking in the inventory on our time and energy and resources, I told you we were going to come back to those later on. And this is what we are going to do in these next 3 weeks. First here by building in your accountability system. So you are in effect now creating data for yourself. The two benefits of when you have something where you can actually objectively measure your progress, it reinforces the work that you're doing and the effort that you're doing, and it shows you can do this, and it's something that you want to do, and it reminds you of that fact. Is it helps you find places where adjustment is needed, and that comes in the review part. So the first part is when you're lining it up, doing it, checking it off, and the second part is when you are reviewing what you have done. And by tracking the steps and marking it when you've done, you have just made yourself accountable. Mark milestones, you get a sense of achievement. You make corrections in your plan and add in things that you didn't anticipate or that you didn't know about. You mark any mistakes, and overall it propels you to success. I want you to set it up, do the work, mark it done, add any notes, keep track of information as you're gathering it. You want to check this weekly and monthly. Weekly, just to see that you're on track, make sure if anything was missed that you pick it up by the end of the week, and then monthly you will look back at it to start seeing patterns, to make any changes based upon the information that you have gathered. And through this process, give yourself credit, because you are doing this, you are making the change. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, give me a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, or suggestions below. Share this with someone who it might benefit just in general. It doesn't have to be for this program. Subscribe to see the other videos, and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.